It's the puddin' that's putting the pie on the map. We're like, yes, we've got our closing line. This is great.
Joining me are two special guests, Erlendson and Aaron Jensen, and they're here from the award-winning Accapella group called Countermeasure. And they're here today to talk about their roles and their music and what's next for them. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy, and welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be back here.
Yes, so is this your third time here?
Second time as a group. We were here, what, 2 years back?
Yeah, about 2 years back, about this time of year. If you're wondering, this is March right now.
Yeah.
So tell us about, how did you come up with the name Countermeasure?
Well, Countermeasure for us is, it's the name means sort of against the beat, against the measure, against the normal. And there's a lot of Accapella, there's a lot of jazz, there's a lot of adult contemporary music out there. We thought that we'd take a little bit of a twist on that and do something the opposite in some ways. And so you find our music is full of interesting harmonies and inventive covers and really beautiful originals that tweak the ear and challenge expectations and really give you a unique experience while you're listening to us on the stage.
Yes, and your role, you're the founder, right?
Actually, Aaron and I founded the group together almost 10 years ago now. And I've had a chance to manage the group for the past 10 years, and it's been a fantastic experience watching us grow and develop and watching Aaron write some unbelievable music that we're excited to present to people on stage.
Yes, and so your music is jazz, blues, all types, like...
Yeah, vocal music is a very versatile art form. So over the years, we've been able to take part in everything from jazz festivals and choral festivals and very sort of pop-based things, but I would say, based on my background, that there's a layer of jazz harmonies that's superimposed over much of what we sing, even though we cover quite a broad spectrum of genres.
What a huge feat. So tell us, is there like a typical day?
Typical day on tour?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the tour. Like this, we are staying together. That one of my favorite things about when we're on tour is when we find a place where we can all cohabitate and live together. So we've rented a beautiful space in North Van. We're all living together, so we'll sort of like trundle out. But I don't know, it depends. When we were in Japan, we were all living together and having adventures on a daily basis. We did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival where we were all staying together and moving around, and it's there's a little bit of music, a little bit of hijinks, a good mix of it all.
And there's 12 of you?
There's 12 of us plus.
Plus, we do travel with a couple of folks who help support and bring our music to life. Particularly our technical director, Mr. Christopher Poole, who is an unbelievable wizard with the sound engineering, and helps to make all the harmonies really, really ring in the space.
Yeah, so you're like one happy family.
Yeah, that's right. That's really, I feel like that is the secret for us, is that we have found people that really are family to us, that we're all great friends, we work together very well. If you're going to be spending so much time together on the road or in close quarters, it's very important that you enjoy each other's company, and we do very much.
And you write your own original songs, right?
Yeah, we do some covers. We really have been pushing a lot of originals lately, and it's a really enjoyable process, there's already built-in constraints by singing with only voices of trying to say, how can we, it's not just songwriting in a vacuum, we're already writing for voices, but now since we've been singing together for so many years, I feel like every original that I bring to the table, I'm hearing the voices of these 12 people in my mind, or really trying to create a feature based on the aesthetics and the skills of the different singers, and also looking at upcoming opportunities where different songs would be particularly beneficial. So it's there's a lot of different things sort of to keep in my mind, but it's been a beautiful challenge.
And we featured a lot of our originals on the albums we have. We have 2 albums. 14 Characters, our first album that came out a few years ago, and then Made to Measure, which came out in 2016. And we're in the middle, right in the throes of our 3rd recording project called Guest Sessions, which is all original music, but all of it is voices. It's all a cappella, with the exception of every track has one featured instrumentalist to help augment the voices in some capacity. And we've picked from Grammy winners and Juno winners and leaders of their fields from around the world to come into Toronto and record with us. And we've got some unbelievable players already on the album, and we've got some to come. And it's we'll be releasing this as digital singles over the next 7 or 8 months, culminating in the final release of that product in early 2020. But it's all original, it's all Canadian, and it's all sort of an interesting hybrid between a cappella and solo instrumental music.
Wow, what a process.
Yeah.
And so you were founded in 2010?
Yeah, it was 2010 we came together over a kitchen table in June and said, we should do something, and both of us and both of our partners were like, we should make something really cool, a home we can put singers into and have them have an opportunity to really sing great music and develop. And we originally formed it as something that was more of a community project, but it very quickly became obvious that it was going to be something more than that. And as of 2012, we were touring every year and working on our first album.
Wow. And tell us about how do you feel performing? Like, it must be exciting. You bring that energy in, and tell us about that. Some stories.
Well, there are stories, performance stories.
Oh man, Italy.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we have. There's a lot of different experiences. That's a good one that jumps to mind. We had after we finished with the Edinburgh Fringe Festivals a couple years back, we zipped over to Italy, and the final concert of our tour was in the moat of a castle in this beautiful small Italian village where the entire village came out and surrounded the moat, and we were just singing, surrounded on all sides by hundreds, if not thousands, of spectators. We had a beautiful time in Japan this past year.
So we sang in a hundreds of years old wooden theater, originally a Kabuki theater. It was repurposed for performing arts. They had installed some more modern lighting fixtures and sound fixtures, but the floor was all the original wood.
So we had to take our shoes off.
We take our shoes off to perform. And
we
had this big aisle that is used in traditional theater that went all the way from the stage at stage height to the very back of the audience. And we walked in through that aisle coming up to the stage and sort of had a chance to connect with our audience before we turned around and sang to them as a performance. And it was a beautiful moment and an unbelievable venue.
Well, in this last summer, we had a really, really exceptional experience. We took part in the 100-year anniversary of Nelson Mandela in Washington, D.C. So we were singing at the Kennedy Center with groups from all over the world, from Madagascar and from Venezuela and from Mongolia and Australia. And it was such a powerful and important experience, and to be able to sing together, and even when there was language barriers, to be able to just make music together. And it culminated in one big finale where hundreds of singers from around the world were on stage singing out, and it was a wonderful experience.
And I was hosted at the Kennedy Center, which felt really appropriate, so we're bringing everyone together and making something beautiful through music.
I mean, do you have a favorite country?
Our favorite country is Canada. No, I mean, I think in terms of our performance experience, we've been all over the world. I think my personal favorite is our performance experience in Japan. there's a passion and a dedication and a love of the purity of the voice and singing together. There's a cultural traditions around that, and there's a lot of appreciation for it. And so in Japan, we found a love in our audiences. We sold at every show, we sold at every album, but more importantly, we had people wanted to shake our hands and get signatures and crying in the line to just come see us and say hello afterwards. And that kind of passion and dedication, I've never seen that before in my musical career, and we were excited to be going back this year.
It's wonderful. And now, congratulations on the Best Original Song, Fox in the Field. Tell us about the process.
That is a piece that I wrote. The text is based on The Little Prince, the timeless classic. So I drew from text from that. It's a piece that features the men of Countermeasure, and we actually just released about a year back now. We filmed a music video to that on the mountains in Scotland and filmed that. And yeah, I guess that was up. We were up against Pentatonics, the group for that original piece.
Yeah, there were a lot of really great contenders.
Yeah.
It's it's such an honor to be recognized. Particularly in our field, and particularly for the original music we do. A lot of a cappella groups are cover groups, and it's no shade on what they do. They make some incredibly beautiful music, and they really reach people through familiarity. We take a bit of a countermeasure. We take we do something a little bit different, and the original music is really what drives us. And to be awarded for that, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so you're basically the only group with original songs and covers like the Beatles, right?
I mean, there are some groups that are out there. I mean, I think that in Canada, at least, it seems that there's countless times where we're performing where afterwards the feedback we get is that we've just never heard music like this. There's some places in the world where the acapella is maybe a little bit more mainstream. Like people are aware of barbershop, and they're aware of the nylons, and they're aware of that sort of thing. And we do something that is certainly built off the foundations of that, but takes our music in a different direction.
Yes, and also to another song, "Life Is Fine." Tell us about that.
Yeah, that one we developed 4 years ago, I think. It was commissioned by a gospel choir in Toronto, the Nathaniel Dett Chorale, and we premiered that at Kerner Hall, which is a beautiful venue in Toronto, as part of a tribute to what was his name? It was Duke Ellington and
Stainer. No.
We'll come back. We'll come back to that. Anyway, it was a celebration of
Billy Strayhorn.
Strayhorn, yes.
Thank you.
The music we drew on the text of the Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes, and set that text to an original piece which we were able to perform with the Nathaniel Dett Chorale at Kerner Hall. And that one we also created a music video for, which is quite special. The video for this, the camera was this sort of strange tripod camera. It was actually the same camera that was used in the X-Men movie.
For the Quicksilver scene. And so the idea behind the music video was it was a one-take video style, where we used a robotic camera to replicate motion perfectly across all the takes, and using a robot to do it meant we could splice in between takes and be able to get multiple copies of the protagonist and be able to sort of see his story and his struggle. And we used that video to really reach a lot of people, talking about a bunch of different issues. One of them was mental health and awareness against the stigma of mental health, and we're really proud to be able to put that out to a lot of people. We got a ton of love and hundreds of thousands of views for the video, and it's been a really good moment for us to sort of come together on original music and on the feelings and the emotions and the passion of Countermeasure.
Right. So what has been the feedback been like from your music?
Yeah, the feedback's been very positive. I think the thing that I love hearing the most is I've never heard anything like this. And well, a lot of our music is very familiar in terms of what you might imagine in terms of like jazz stylings, or adult contemporary kind of feelings, or choral background. We twist it around and take it in a new direction. And first and foremost, a lot of it's original. Secondly, is it's all beautifully choreographed. We have a staging and choreography director who's based in Toronto, who really helps us make something that's theatrical, more of an emotional journey, rather than simply a static piece or a dance number. It's more of a theatrical production, which is really impactful to our audiences. We try to really communicate the emotions that we feel when we're performing effectively, and so we've been able to do that. And the feedback we get is, that people are moved, people they're enlivened by this whole experience. They feel connected to what we are doing, even though they might not know much about it, and that's everything we want. That's what it's worth.
What pays off most for me, so that we were in Vancouver and this area a little while back. Our first concert of the tour was at Blue Frog, where we performed last time, and to see some of the same faces of people who had seen us before, who were requesting original songs that they heard for the first time around 2 years ago and still remembered. It's very rewarding. It's such an easy thing to fall back on covers and for like, sing Brown Eyed Girl or whatever, and to actually have an audience who is waiting for and expecting originals it means that we have connected, and that really pays off for us.
And you're moving people, and that's the message you want. And do you like large audiences or smaller ones?
It's a great question. I mean, we perform for all sizes of house. As you might imagine, what we do is in a full theater show is so we're about to go to the Port Theatre in Nanaimo, and what we do in a full theater show is a little different than what we do in a smaller house. And as a result, it has a different impact, and we are able to communicate things to a larger audience. But I think my favorite shows are ones that are really intimate, close to people. We're able to communicate directly with them. We can see their faces, they can see ours. We can have this connection, this moment, this electric eye contact that really brings them into the music with us, brings them along on the journey. We feel less like we're performing to somebody and more like we're having a conversation on stage with somebody.
Yes, and also too, like, you use your voice a lot, right? What do you do before you go on stage?
Well, interestingly enough, I would say that we are our instruments, and so on long tours we have to be very conscious to not get ill, because you can play a piano if you've got a cold, but it's harder when you're sick. But even more important than warming up your voices, I feel something that's really important for us is to just align our minds in some way, just sort of to connect and make sure that we're all locked in with each other, so that we're not 12 people singing on top of each other, but that we're really communicating and we're all in the same headspace and just sort of calming our brains and our hearts a little bit before we go out on stage. So I would say, unlike sports teams that are like pumping themselves up before they go on stage, we sort of have like a cool down so that we can align ourselves before we head out.
It's wonderful. And what's next for you?
Well, after returning home from BC, we're going to be doing a bunch of shows in the Ontario area. So we've got shows at the Guelph River and Centre, at Markham Theatre, as part of Music Niagara over the summer.
Sing Festival.
Sing the Toronto Vocal Arts Festival. We're performing at the end of May, beginning of June. And then it's going to be a busy summer of jazz festivals and other things that we pick up along the way. But what we're really excited for is we're heading back to Japan for most of the month of August, focusing on the Tokyo area. Last time we were there, we were around Osaka and Kyoto, which is the Kansai region, and this time we're heading over to Tokyo, which is just an unbelievably beautiful and vibrant and exciting place to be. And we're spending most of August there. So if you're based in Tokyo, come see us. Come see us in August. We'll be playing shows at the Tokyo Sabita Jazz Festival, and then around the surrounding area as part of other festivals for that month.
It's wonderful. And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully doing the same. I feel like we don't have a prescriptive idea of like what success is or what we're shooting for. Honestly, I think that if we can continue to do what we are doing, continue to build memories and experiences with the people that we love, and to continue to make music, that's what I'd like to see.
And I think we we're always excited to find out what we're doing next. I mean, you know, a lot of opportunities come along, and we always jump on these sort of these chances to go and do something we've never done before.
Yeah, or to collaborate with new artists in different places in the world.
It's all about like going with sort of how the currents of opportunity come to us. And we've been fortunate over the past 10 years to find good people, but I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's sort of the gravity of interesting people making interesting things. They kind of find each other and have opportunities to build something better together. But of course, you can find out all about that on countermeasuremusic.com, where you can keep up to date with all the things that are happening with us, and of course on Twitter @DefyGenre. So it's easy to see what all the cool projects we're part of. We've got a couple of releases coming out this year besides the album and the different digital tracks. We've got a couple more music videos coming out, and even a collaborative music video with a swing dancing troupe, which is going to be
coming out in the next couple
months, which was one heck of a time. It was one of our examples of an inventive cover, sort of gone to the extreme. It's a fast jazz version of a Britney Spears song. So it's a fun one.
You're always reaching, right, and proving your craft, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, well, we've really benefited from working with a lot of different artists. It's this current project, this guest sessions project, we are learning so much, like being able to work with artists that have been honing their craft for their whole lives. I feel like it's really upping our game in an exciting way.
Well, I'm very happy to have you on the show, and you're doing such wonderful work, inspiring others. Music heals.
It sure does.
And it does. And one of the things we love doing particularly is inspiring the next generation. So while we're here in BC, we're doing a couple of workshops, particularly targeted towards young singers, growing singers, semi-professionals who are looking to improve on their skills. And we love sharing our craft because we really believe in it. We believe in the next generation of singers to come and show us something we've never seen before.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
I'd like to have you come back.
We'd love to come back. BC's beautiful. We'd love to return here, and thank you so much for having us.
Welcome, and we'll be right back after this break.
I cannot stay with you. I am not taking